Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing well today. I'm going to try something a little different for today's video. This is still going to be me, I guess, rambling, but it's in a different format. If you couldn't tell what kind of format it is and the description didn't tell you plenty, well, please read. That is why literacy exists in the first place. What I'm going to do for the next few minutes is read an assortment of random articles that Wikipedia gives me. After all, this website has the unique feature of pressing a button and it'll give you a random article. Now, that being said, I really hope to God that I don't get articles of a more controversial nature. Wikipedia, being a giant internet encyclopedia, can give me a range of different things. Something as simple as a species of bird to something a little bit more controversial, such as I don't know, decapitation or something. So let's hope it doesn't give me anything too spicy. Alright, so the first thing we've received is an article for the 2013 Baghdad governorate election. My apologies. The Baghdad governorate election of 2013 was held on April 20th, 2013, alongside elections for all other governorates outside Iraqi Kurdistan, Kirkuk, Anbar, and Nineveh. I'm definitely butchered all those names. My apologies. So, okay, it really did not give me a good choice of article to start with, because my plan was to read the first section of the article and then move on to the next article, because some of these articles could be really long, and I really don't want to have to go through reading a massive amount of information. So I guess we're just gonna boil it down like this. So it looks like in the first place was the State of Law Coalition, led by Nouri al-Maliki. Looks like they have 20 seats. They lost 8. They had a total of 569,178 votes. By the way, bear with me. I'm trying to read all this with one eye. The microphone is to one side of my face, and this is kind of difficult to do. But bear with me. Maybe if this is successful, I will try a different tactic. Next up, we have Mutaidun, led by Usama al-Nujaifi. They had 7 seats, a change of plus 7 seats, had a total of 183,716 votes. Next up, we have the Citizens Alliance at 3rd place with Amar al-Hakim, with 6 seats in total, a change of plus 3 seats, and a total of 163,022 votes. I think that's as far as we should go, because it's just the top 3 at least, and the article here is giving me the top 3. Well, I think that covers this article. Where do we go next? Alright, next up we have the Alfa Romeo Tonale. The Alfa Romeo Tonale, and I'm probably butchering the name of this car too, is a car produced by the Italian company Alfa Romeo since February 2022, being a 5-seater compact crossover SUV. It slots above the Alfa Romeo Junior and below the Alfa Romeo Stelvio in the Marque's crossover SUV range, known internally as the 965. The Tonale is the first hybrid-powered Alfa Romeo and became the first new model introduced by the brand in 6 years. It is named after the Tonale mountain pass in northern Italy. In August 2022, a rebadged and restyled version was unveiled as the Dodge Hornet, exclusive to the North American market as the smallest entry-level SUV offering from Dodge. The Hornet will be sold alongside the Tonale in the region with different specs and lower pricing. Next up, we have the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. The Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Tournament is the annual conference basketball championship tournament for the NCAA Division III Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. The tournament has been held annually since 1999. It is a single elimination tournament, and seeding is based on regular conference season records. The winner receives the HCAC's automatic bid to the NCAA Men's Division III Basketball Championship. Hime is the Japanese word for princess or a lady of higher birth. Daughters of a monarch are actually referred to by other terms, example, Ojo, literally king's daughter, even though Hime can be used to address Ojo. The word Hime initially referred to any beautiful female person. The antonym of Hime is Shikome, literally ugly female, though it is archaic and rarely used. Hime may also indicate feminine or simply small when used together with other words such as himegaki, a low line of hedge. Hime is commonly seen as part of a Japanese female divinity's name, such as Toyotama Hime. The kanji applied to transliterate Hime are that or that rather than that. The masculine counterpart of Hime or Hiko, that or that or that, which is seen as part of Japanese male gods' names, such as Saruda Hiko. Unlike Hime, Hiko is neutral, non-archaic, and still commonly used as a modern Japanese male given name. For example, Nobuhiko Takada. John Robinson, American football. Jonathan Thomas Robinson, born January 18, 1976, is an American professional football executive. He was a longtime scout for the New England Patriots of the National Football League. Before being named Director of Player Personnel for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2013, from 2016 to 2022, Robinson was the General Manager and Executive Vice President of the Tennessee Titans. Elba Township, Lapeer County, Michigan. Elba Township is a civil township of Lapeer County in the U.S. state of Michigan. The population was 5,235 at the 2020 census. Elba Township was established in 1838. I'm going to add just the communities section, just since this article is pretty short. Communities. Elba is an unincorporated community in the township at those coordinates. The first white settlers were Hosile Howland and his son Ira, who moved there from Rhode Island in 1835. The township was organized in 1838. The community of Elba was founded in 1871. A post office opened on December 26, 1871, with John Winship as the first postmaster. The office closed on September 30th, 1941. Elba was a station on the Grand Trunk Western Railroad. The city of Lapeer is to the northeast and incorporates some land from the township. The Lapeer Post Office, with zip code 48446, also serves nearly all of Elba Township. The village of Metamora is to the southeast, and the Metamora Post Office, with zip code 48455, also serves a small portion of southeast Elba Township. Christopher Pierce, rower. Christopher Thomas Pierce, born December 21st, 1942, is a retired British rower who competed in the 1972 Summer Olympics. His rowing career. Pierce won the Coxed Fours with Alan Allmand, Hugh Matheson, Dick Finley, and Patrick Sweeney, rowing for a Tideway Scullers and Leander Composite at the inaugural 1972 National Rowing Championships. The winning crew were then selected to represent Great Britain at the 1972 Olympics. Rooney Massara replaced Finley in the men's Coxed Four event, where the crew finished in 10th place after being knocked out in the semifinals. Camilla Andini. Camilla Andini, born May 6, 1986, is an Indonesian film director known for her critically acclaimed debut, The Mirror Never Lies. Andini was born on May 6, 1986, and is the eldest daughter of filmmaker Garin Nugroho. Although uninterested in cinematography for fear that she would be working in her father's shadow, She began studying photography while still in junior high school, hoping to capture people's life and behavior. While in senior high school, her classmates often asked her father about filmmaking, questions which Andini later said ashamed her because she knew nothing of her father's oeuvre. I think that's pronounced oeuvre. Uh, she later began to become involved with several film committees, and Dini completed a degree in sociology at Deakin University in Melbourne, Australia. The 2019 Texas Bowl. The 2019 Texas Bowl was a college football bowl game played on December 27th, 2019, with kickoff at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4:55 p.m. local Central. I think it's Central Time. Apologies for my lack of knowledge on that. On ESPN, it was the 14th edition of the Texas Bowl and was one of the 2019-2020 bowl games, concluding the 2019 FBS football season, sponsored by the Academy Sports and Outdoors Sporting Goods Company. The game was officially known as the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl. The game was played between the Oklahoma State Cowboys from the Big 12 Conference and the Texas A&M Aggies from the Southeastern Conference. This was the 28th overall meeting between Oklahoma State and Texas A&M. Texas A&M leads the all-time series 17-10. Both Oklahoma State and Texas A&M were charter members of the Big 12, playing in the conference from 1996 until 2012, when Texas A&M left the Big 12 to join the SEC. Oklahoma State entered the bowl with a 4-game win streak against Texas A&M. David R. Bennion. David Ralph Bennion, 1929 to 1988, was a leading California winemaker who was the founder and winemaker at Ridge Vineyards in California from 1959 to 1969. From an early period, Bennion labeled Ridge Vineyards wines by vineyard, district, and appellation, a first for California Zinfandel and practice later followed by nearly every winery in the state. Ridge's flagship wine, Montebello, is considered one of the great wines of the world. Bennion was born in Utah on his family's farm on February 12, 1929. In the late 1940s, he moved to California, where he enrolled at Stanford University. While at Stanford, he met Frances Lusk, whom he married in 1953. Radivoj Yankovic. Radivoj Yankovic was October 7th, 1889 to 1949, was a Yugoslav general of the Royal Army. He had the rank of division general. I'm not going to read all the accolades. M4 Sherman variants. The M4 Sherman tank was produced in several variants, a result of mass production spread across several manufacturers and several years. It was also the basis for a number of related vehicles, and Shermans have been modified by several nations, ranging from upgrades to complete full conversions for another task. Originally designed in 1941, M4 variants were still used by Israel during the 1967 and 1973 wars with its Arab neighbors. The many special duties that a tank might be made to do were just being explored by armies around the world in the early 1940s. Theories of what vehicles were supposed to be engaging enemy tanks changed as vehicles like the Sherman often found themselves up against enemy armor, and consequently some of the most important initial changes centered around upgunning the basic vehicle. Improving the vehicle's mobility, protection, and creating specific variants for infantry support roles soon followed. Similar modification of the main armament would be done by the British, who received a number of Shermans through Lend-Lease during the course of the war, producing the Sherman Firefly tank, armed with a powerful 17-pounder tank gun. Yamasa Institute. The Yamasa Institute, Japanese Yamasa I can't read that, is a private Japanese language school located in Okazaki Aichi Prefecture. The institute began language instruction in 1989 and was founded through the Hattori Foundation, a philanthropic educational organization established in 1919. The Yamasa Institute is one of only 17 accredited Japanese language schools in Aichi. The school originally occupied one floor of the Yamasa 2 office block, but has grown to incorporate most of the building. Samuel R. Gross. Samuel Raymond Gross, born 1946, is an American lawyer and the Thomas and Mabel Long Professor of Law at the University of Michigan Law School. Gross is best known for his work in false convictions and exonerations, notably the Larry Griffin death penalty case. Gross is the editor of the National Registry of Exonerations Project. Samuel Gross has been leading a team of lawyers in statistics and in law, which determined the likely number of unjust convictions of prisoners on death row. The study determined that at least 4% of people on death row were and are innocent. The research was peer-reviewed with the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, which later published it. Gross has stated that he firmly believes some innocent people have been executed. Songs of Heaven. Songs of Heaven is Why Friday's first worship CD, released in 2003. The track listing has 6 songs. 1. Songs of Heaven. 2. God of Creation. 3. Your Mercy Falls. 4. Glorious One. 5. Come in Power. 6. Falling Down. Shiksha. Shiksha is a Sanskrit word which means instruction, lesson, learning, study of skill. It also refers to one of the 6 Vedangas, or limbs of Vedic studies, on phonetics and phonology in Sanskrit. Shiksha is the field of Vedic study of sound focusing on the letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, accent, quantity, stress, melody, and the rules of euphoric combination of words during a Vedic recitation. Each ancient Vedic school developed this field of Vedanga, and the oldest surviving phonetic textbooks are the Pradishakyas. I am having some trouble pronouncing that. The Paninya Shiksha and the Naradiya Shiksha are examples of extant ancient manuscripts of this field of Vedic studies. Shiksha is the oldest and the first auxiliary discipline to the Vedas, maintained since the Vedic era. It aims at construction of sound and language for synthesis of ideas, in contrast to grammarians who developed rules for language deconstruction and understanding of ideas. This field helped preserve the Vedas and the Upanishads as the canons of Hinduism since the ancient times, and shared by various Hindu traditions. Sagar Rajput. The Sagar Rajput is a Hindu caste. The Sagar Rajput caste was formerly known as Shagar Dangar. They were shepherds and farmers by tradition. They owned more farming land than other farming communities, and also held the office of the Patil, my apologies, prior to independence. The living informants at the time of study of this caste by scholars asserted that they changed their name to Sagar Rajput after holding a caste meeting, and one of those Rajputs claimed to have gone to a Pandit in Pune who had uncovered their lineage. This lineage connected them with the Maratha ruler Malhar Rao Holkar, who was a Dangar shepherd, and back to the Rajput rulers of Rajasthan. Robert Eric Frykenberg states that they were originally from the Shudra, the Shudra Varna, and successfully changed their status to twice-born by employing genealogists due to improvement in economic conditions, and thus changed their name to Sagar Rajputs and started wearing the sacred thread. They do not have any genealogical or historical evidence to support their claim of Rajput origin. This claim appears to be merely an attempt at Rajputization to assert a higher social status, even though they are Shudras, not Rajputs. 2017 ANZ Premiership Season. The 2017 ANZ Premiership season was the inaugural season of Netball New Zealand's ANZ Premiership. All matches were broadcast on Sky Sport New Zealand, with a team coached by Ranga Bloxham, captained by Wendy Frew, and featuring Gina Crampton, Janelle Fowler-Reid, Shannon Francois, and Jane Watson. Southern Steel finished the 2017 season as inaugural ANZ Premiership winners. After finishing the regular season unbeaten and as minor premiers, Steel defeated Central Pulse 69-53 in the grand final. This saw Steel compete a 16-match unbeaten season. The top 3 teams from the season, Steel, Pulse, and Northern Mystics, qualified for the 2017 Netball New Zealand Super Club. Marcus Child. Marcus Child was a businessman and political figure in Lower Canada, now Quebec. An immigrant from the United States, he became a prosperous businessman. He was involved in improving local education in the Eastern Townships, an area which had recently opened for colonial settlement. He represented the Stansted Township of Lower Canada, first in the Legislative Assembly of Lower Canada, later in the Legislative Assembly of the Province of Canada. He supported the Parti Patriote in the 1830s and fled to exile in the United States for a short time after the Lower Canada Rebellion of 1837. Child's politics moderated after the rebellion, and he took a more conservative approach after his return. After serving 1 term in the Province of Canada Assembly, he continued to be active in the business and social activities of Stansted, but later moved to nearby Cody Cook. He died in 1859 of an inflammation of the lungs. The New Jerusalem, Chesterton book. The New Jerusalem is a 1920 book by the English author and journalist G.K. Chesterton. Dale Ahlquist calls it a philosophical travelogue of Chesterton's journey across Europe to Palestine. On the road to Cairo, one may see 20 groups exactly like that of the Holy Family in the pictures of the flight into Egypt, with only one difference: the man is riding on the ass. The real mistake of the Muslims is something much more modern in its application than any particular passing persecution of Christians as such. It lay in the very fact that they did think they had a simpler and saner sort of Christianity, as do many modern Christians. They thought it could be made universal merely by being made uninteresting. Now, a man preaching what he thinks is a platitude is far more intolerant than a man preaching what he admits is a paradox. It was exactly because it seemed self-evident to Muslims as to Bolshevists that their simple creed was suited to everybody, that they wished in that particular sweeping fashion to impose it on everybody. Kalfali is a village located in Shusha district of Azerbaijan, and as well it is the center of the Kalfali Rural Administrative Territorial District. The village of Kalfali is the center of the Kalfali Rural Administrative Territorial District of Shusha District, while this Rural Administrative Territorial District also includes the villages of Armudlu, Dukanlar, Garabalog, Lakinlar, Mirzalar, Shulu, Zaman Pagyasi. The village is located at an altitude of 1,260 meters on the bank of the Kalfaliche River, which flows into the Karche River. It is located in the northern part of the Shusha district, just 4 kilometers west of the regional center of Shusha. Cyprus at the 2016 Summer Olympics. Cyprus competed in the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, from 5th to 21st of August 2016. This was the nation's 10th consecutive appearance at the Summer Olympics. Cyprus Olympic Committee sent a team of 16 athletes, 10 men and 6 women, to compete in 7 different sports at the Games. The nation's full roster in Rio de Janeiro was slightly larger by 3 athletes than those sent to London 2012. Among the sporting events represented by the nation's athletes, Cyprus made its Olympic debut in artistic gymnastics and women's road cycling. The Cypriot delegation featured 6 returning Olympians, with only 4 of them having participated in more than 2 editions of the Olympic Games, including high jumper Kyriakos Ionou and Eleni Artemata, 33-year-old windsurfer Andreas Karolou, the oldest and most experienced competitor of the team, and laser sailor Pavlos Kontides, who won a silver medal in London 4 years earlier, the nation's first ever Olympic medalist and one of the potential frontrunners for gold in the laser class at his 3rd Games. Kontides, I think is how you pronounce that, I'm just going to say Kontides, was later selected to lead the Cypriot team as the flag bearer in the opening ceremony. Unlike the previous Olympics, Cyprus failed to earn a single medal in Rio de Janeiro. Kontides Ionou and Serbian-born hurdler Milan Trakovic came close to adding another medal for Cyprus at those games, but finished 7th in the finals of their respective sporting events. 1978 New Year Honours, New Zealand. The 1978 New Year Honours in New Zealand were appointments by Elizabeth II on the advice of the New Zealand government to various orders and honours to reward and highlight good works by New Zealanders. The awards celebrated the passing of 1977 and the beginning of 1978, and were announced on December 31st, 1977. The recipients of honours are displayed here as they were styled before their new honour. Knight Bachelor Alan Thomas Gandel of Wellington for services to the Order of St. John. Thomas Wilfred Perry of Christchurch for services to commerce and the community. Order of the Bath. Companion Military Division Major General Ronald Douglas Patrick Hassett, Chief of General Staff. Order of St. Michael and St. George, the Most Reverend Alan Howard Johnston, Anglican Primate and Archbishop of New Zealand since 1972 and Bishop of Waikato since 1969. My apologies. The Very Reverend John Spencer Somerville of Dundon for services to the Presbyterian Church and the University of Otago. I think there's more than just that, but I'm just gonna read off to what where I was at. Counties in England by population. This is a list of ceremonial counties in England by population in 2021-2022. I'm gonna read the top 10. Greater London, 8,901,000. Region, London. County, West Midlands, 2,910,000. Region, West Midlands. County, Greater Manchester, 2,824,000. Region, Northwest. Number 4, West Yorkshire, 2,314,000. Region, Yorkshire and the Humber. Number 5, Hampshire, 1,852,000. Region, Southeast. Number 6, Kent, 1,845,000. Region, Southeast. Number 7, Essex, 1,845,000. Region, Southeast. Number 8, Lancashire, 1,505,000. Region, Northwest. Number 9, Merseyside, 1,496,000. Region, Northwest. And number 10, South Yorkshire, or Yorkshire, I think is how it's pronounced. Again, my pronunciations have probably been booty cheeks for the past several minutes. I've been reading all these. 1,396,000. Region, Yorkshire and the Humber. I'm just going to call it Yorkshire. I feel like it's Yorkshire. The Norton Knatchbull School. The Norton Knatchbull School is a grammar school with academy status for boys located in Ashford, Kent, England. Girls are accepted into the sixth form. As of 2017, the school serves more than 1,000 pupils aged 11 to 18. The school was founded in Ashford around 1630 as a free grammar school by its namesake, who died in 1636, an uncle of Sir Norton Knatchbull. The school continued to be led and funded by Knatchbull's family due to a stipulation in his will in 1636. It was known simply as Ashford Grammar School until the summer of 1973. The original school was based in the churchyard in the town centre, in the building known as Dr. Wilkes Hall, and which now houses the town's museum, but has moved several times. By the 20th century, it had moved to its present location on the Hythe Road. The main building of the current school premises was built in the 1950s and has recently been renovated in 2015 as part of a major overhaul of the school's facilities. A number of additional buildings have been added to the site. The Brabourne building in the early 1990s, the Mortimer building in the early 2000s, and the Fraser building sports hall, which was completed and opened in the mid-2000s. Alongside with these buildings, we have the sixth form building and the DLC, which has been recently created a couple of years back. A new digital learning center is to be constructed on the site in order to facilitate an expected increase in the number of students attending the school as the surrounding area continues to grow. The Digital Learning Center has since been completed in 2021. It is one of 2 grammar schools in Ashford. Forfar Town and County Hall. Forfar Town and County Hall is a municipal building in the Cross, Forfar, Scotland. The structure, which serves as the meeting place of Angus Council, is a Category B listed building. I think we're good on information here, because if I begin reading history, I'm going to be on history for quite some time. Cheviot Hills, Los Angeles. Cheviot Hills is a neighborhood on the west side of the city of Los Angeles, California. Founded in 1924, the neighborhood has served as the filming location of movies and television shows due to its convenient location between MGM Studios, now Sony Pictures Studios, and Fox Studios. The neighborhood has also long been home to many actors, recording artists, and television and studio executives. Mwaco River. Mwaco River is a river of Amazonas state in northwestern Brazil. Ferrari 412 T1. The Ferrari 412 T1 was the Formula One racing car with which Scuderia Ferrari competed in the 1994 Formula One World Championship. It was designed by John Barnard and then developed by Gustav Brunner. I'll read the first I feel like if you read the first portion of the first section, as long as it's not a history section, if it's something like an overview, I think I can just read the first section and we should be good here. The car was a simple and straightforward design that worked well, Powered by a 3.5-liter V12 engine, in the name of the new car, the 4 stood for the number of valves per cylinder, while the 12 was for the number of cylinders, and the T referred to the transverse gearbox, with its 6 normal gears and 1 reverse. The car featured heavily sculptured side pods and a sleek rounded nose cone, aiding aerodynamics. 2021 Memorial Van Dam. The 2021 Memorial Van Dam was the 45th edition of the annual track and field meeting in Brussels, Belgium, held on September 3rd at the King Badwin Stadium. It was the 13th and penultimate leg of the 2021 Diamond League, the highest level international track and field circuit. The discus throw events were held on September 1st, 2 days before the rest of the meeting. Although Memorial Van Dam and Weltklasse Zurich co-hosted the finals during the last full season in 2019, in 2021 the series moved to a single final in Zurich. The meeting was highlighted by Sifan Hassan nearly breaking the mile run world record with a 4:14.74 winning time. Additionally, the meeting attracted attention as 2 women's events, 5,000 meters and 200 meters, were won by women with XY disorders of sex development, affected by World Athletics regulations on testosterone levels. Beach. A beach is a landform alongside a body of water which consists of loose particles. The particles composing a beach are typically made from rock such as sand, gravel, shingle, pebbles, etc., or biological sources such as mollusk shells or coralline algae. Sediments settle in different densities and structures depending on the local wave action and weather, creating different textures, colors, and gradients or layers of material. Though some beaches form on inland freshwater locations, such as lakes and rivers, most beaches are in coastal areas where wave or current action deposits and reworks sediments. Erosion and changing of beach geologies happens through natural processes like wave action and extreme weather events. Where wind conditions are correct, beaches can be backed by coastal dunes which offer protection and regeneration for the beach. However, these natural forces have become more extreme due to climate change, permanently altering beaches at very rapid rates. Some estimates describe as much as 50% of the Earth's sandy beaches disappearing by 2100 due to climate change-driven sea level rise. Sandy beaches occupy about 1/3 of global coastlines. These beaches are popular for recreation, playing important economic and cultural roles, often driving local tourism industries. To support these uses, some beaches have human-made infrastructure, such as lifeguard posts, changing rooms, showers, shacks, and bars. They may also have hospitality venues, such as resorts, camps, hotels, and restaurants, nearby or housing both for permanent and seasonal residents. Human forces have significantly changed beaches globally. Direct impacts include bad construction practices on dunes and coastlines, while indirect human impacts include water pollution, plastic pollution, and coastal erosion from sea level rise and climate change. Some coastal management practices are designed to preserve or restore natural beach processes, while some beaches are actively restored through practices like beach nourishment. Wild beaches, also known as undeveloped or undiscovered beaches, are not developed for tourism or recreation. Preserved beaches are important biomes with important roles in aquatic or marine biodiversity, such as for breeding grounds for sea turtles or nesting areas for seabirds or penguins. Preserved beaches and their associated dune are important for protection from extreme weather for inland ecosystems and human infrastructure. Richard Chenevix's Trench. Richard Chenevix's Trench, born September 9th, 1807, died March 28th, 1886, was an Anglican archbishop and poet. He was born in Dublin, Ireland, the son of Richard Trench, 1774 to 1860, barrister at law, and the Dublin writer Melusina Shenevix, 1768-1827. His elder brother was Francis Shenevix Trench. He went to school at Harrow, went up to Trinity College, Cambridge, and graduated in 1829. In 1830, he visited Spain. While incumbent of Curdridge Chapel near Bishop's Waltham in Hampshire, he published in 1835 the story of Justin Martyr and other poems, which was favorably received and was followed in 1838 by Sebastian Honor Neil and other poems, and in 1842 by Poems for Eastern Sources. These volumes reveal the author as the most gifted of the immediate disciples of Wordsmith, with a warmer coloring and more pronounced ecclesiastical sympathies than the master, and strong affinities to Alfred Lord Tennyson, John Keble, and Richard Monckton Milnes. Francis Patrick Baker. Francis Patrick Baker, born May 30th, 1876, died June 2nd, 1959, was an Australian politician serving one term as the representative seat of Maranoa in the Australian House of Representatives from September 1940 to August 1943. Baker was born in Leyburn, Queensland, Australia, on May 30th, 1873. Educated in private schools in Queensland, Baker became a state school teacher for 10 years before serving as an inspector for schools for a further 20 years. In 1940, Baker was elected to represent the seat of Maranoa in the Australian House of Representatives as a member of the Australian Labor Party, only the second time Labor had ever won this normally safe Conservative seat in the remote west of Queensland. Baker was narrowly beaten in the 1943 federal election by Charles Aderman of the Australian Country Party, becoming the only Labor incumbent to be defeated in an election that saw Labor win its most ever seats in the House at the time. I think we've got room for one more article, and that should do it for today. Pakistanis in Myanmar. Pakistanis in Burma are a historical community living in Burma who trace their origins to Pakistan. The definition includes Pakistani nationals residing in Burma and Burmese citizens who have ancestral links to Pakistan. Their history predates the independence of Pakistan in 1947. Along with Burmese Indians, they were part of the large South Asian community in the country. Significant Muslim migration occurred to Burma during the British Raj period. Most of these migrants were Bengalis of erstwhile East Pakistan, but there were also significant communities of Urdu speakers, Memons, Punjabis, and Pashtuns. I think we have a good amount of articles that we've read for today. I would like to thank y'all for joining me, and I hope y'all have a wonderful time. Peace.